Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. We're going to let folks get settled in. Um, Niko, you were just taking your dog for a walk. Tell us about the dog name and his favorite, his most unique quirk as a dog. I'm curious.
So my dog Remy, he's a mix between a Australian cattle dog and a pit bull. So he's super stubborn from the cattle dog side, but he's also really loving and cuddly from the pit bull side. So he's that great mix. I don't know if it's just a Remy thing or a cattle dog pit bull thing, but he is just obsessed with gnawing and teething on blankets specifically. Any sort of blanket is completely ripped apart. Socks, not a big deal. Toys, not a big deal. He sees a blanket, he's tearing that apart and he's just teething. I think he's literally doing this right now as we speak. So that's his quirk.
No blanket is safe around Remy.
Yeah.
Uh, that's great. Awesome. Love dogs. Thanks everybody for joining. We have a quorum. We're going to get started today. Happy spring. I don't know if you're a golfer, Niko. I'm not really, but I love the Masters. It's Masters week for anyone that celebrates. That is always to me like the first sign that we've entered spring is when you see Augusta National all in green. It's a great sight. So I know for folks that had cold winters, we had some folks on the East Coast that got brutal snow this summer. So I'm sure everyone's ready for some sun, longer days, all that fun stuff. Okay, everybody, buckle in. We have a good one today. Speaking of fun, we're talking about AI agents. And before we jump in, I'm going to post some polls. I want to get a sense. This is a webinar. We are live. After all, I want to get a sense of where people are. So I'm going to launch 3 polls. These are anonymous, obviously. But I'm going to let folks vote, and then we'll revisit these as we go and as we start. Let me share my screen to get us started here. Okay. AI agents. And so one of the polls, some of the poll questions are really just understanding where people are in the AI journey, where you're comfortable with it, how are you using it? I see some votes coming in. We'll add those to stage in a little bit. While folks vote, Niko, generally, if you've joined our webinars in the past, it's usually Bassem and I. Bassem couldn't make it today, but if you've been to other webinars, Niko is a frequent guest. So we're happy to have you here, Niko. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background and your role at Briq?
Yeah, so I'm SVP of Tech here at Briq. Been at Briq for coming up on 7 years in May. I've been in multiple different positions, starting off in the data science, moving to software engineering, moving to customer implementations, now back into product and tech. And I'm really excited to be here talking to Ellis about AI agents. What we're building here at Briq is really special. We're really serving the industry that needs this from a technology perspective, where I think we as technologists are getting the best benefits out of AI right now. So we really want to share that benefit and create something that really helps everyone, not just people that know how to open up a terminal and talk to Claude Code. So really excited to talk through this with Ellis today.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about that. As kind of obviously, I think they always say that the future is here. It's just not equally distributed. It's kind of a jagged line of the jagged edge of innovation. Certainly, when it comes to AI and AI agents, if anyone here is a software developer or all you need these days is an idea. You can explain it in words and AI will build it. It is incredible. Not only like what's possible, but the speed of what's possible, the speed of development is mind blowing as well.
Yeah, this is a one-of-one revolution in the digital space. I wasn't old enough to understand the or be around for the internet boom or even the cloud one. But this has completely shifted almost everything I've learned about software, how to build products, how to build tech, and really bring value to customers and people. So it's a really exciting time. And we're very lucky to be in the middle of it. Everyone here is in the middle of it. We're going to be talking to our grandkids about how it was when AI first came out. Hopefully our grandkids will be people and not robots, but we'll see what happens 30 years from now.
Yeah, hopefully, all things remaining equal, we'll have grandkids. We are optimists here. We believe there's a good future ahead. Okay, so let's just take the temperature of the room. Where are we on the AI agent concept? It's good to see a lot of folks using them today. That's really great. Niko, I was talking to a project manager at a contractor, general contractor that did a lot of self-perform last week. And I was talking to one of their project managers who oversees a lot of their work, a lot of their pre-con workflows. He is using something called, Base 44?
Yep.
One of the tools out there, like a Replit or a Cursor, to build an app for their pre-construction team. And I was really encouraged to see that. I thought that was great. I see a lot of people at companies taking the initiative to experiment with these tools and build things out.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some of the risks around that, but I think like the curiosity is there. So that's great to see. Let's look at this one here. Is anyone using AI tools or agents? Yes. If we had done this 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, this would have been upside down. The number of tools that have become available, AI tools, has increased 70x, 70x. The adoption of these tools has also increased by 20x, according to McKinsey. So, yeah, we're seeing a lot of adoption. And when we say AI tools or agents, Niko, I think this could also include ChatGPT, Copilot, all the way through, Base 44, building your own apps, using OpenClaw.
Yeah, OpenClaw. A lot of friends messaging me, telling me that they want help setting up an OpenClaw to monitor their WhatsApp messages. I told them, okay, I'll help you, but you really need a Mac Mini running in your basement for that. But it's great to see people exploring it. That's really what AI is really capitalizing on. Those people that have ideas, those people that have just kind of been shackled by not being able to create something. They're taking advantage of this time using AI to build things. So a lot of people, solo founders, solo creators, really taking advantage of it. Where we're helping here at Briq, and where we see a lot of opportunity, is helping in the enterprise world. So that's why we're here. That's what Ellis and I are here to talk about. But the solo founders, the solo creators, they are taking full advantage and just using every tool out there.
Yeah, I think we'll see very, in the next this year for sure. And there was a story last week where it was a solo founder who had reached $1 billion.
Yeah.
And $1 billion company. He did it doing Facebook ads for GLP-1 drugs. We won't see that in most industries. I think construction, that's obviously never going to happen. But the ability to, scale operations, work more efficiently, honestly, just increase people's quality of life will increase. And then finally, let's talk about some of the concerns. Yeah, I think this is, security is definitely, we'll talk a lot about this today. And cost, complexity, and all of the above. These are polls, but this was actually a test. The correct answer is all of the above. So almost half your path. No, these are all concerns that folks should have. And so we'll talk about them. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start here, Niko, because I think, and if folks can see my screen, I have a big monitor. So let me know if this is hard to see. I've got a couple folks in the chat here. I'm running show here. Okay. let's talk about what an AI agent is. I think there's a lot of definitions. How do you define an agent, Niko?
Yeah. So right now, the way that I'm categorizing and thinking about AI agents, AI agents have skills that they can use and execute on in a given terrain and environment. So an AI agent that has the ability to look at your drive, open up a file, and then do X, Y, and Z. That is an agent. So the agent has skills. It has the ability to reason. So it's not just a dumb script that says go here, pull that, do this. If it goes here and something is missing, it has the ability to reason and understand, hey, something is missing, and then either recommend a next step or move on, right? So an AI agent has that reasoning capability to operate in a terrain to do certain skills. Skills really encompass almost anything that a person can do: communicate with people, read a document, write a document, operate with software, you name it. Anything that somebody can do on a computer, an AI agent can do.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the core concept of the agent that it's combining some AI technologies, and we always say on the AI front, like saying AI is kind of like saying vehicle. You got everything from motorcycles to jet skis. I don't know if jet skis technically a vehicle, but it's motor. You put gas.
Yes.
You put gas in it. So I think let's talk a little bit about some of these underlying technologies here. The most popular obviously is large language models. Talk a little bit about like where the large language model fits into this.
Yeah. So why AI really blew up over the past few years is the ability. The tech industry has really found the secret sauce into allowing large language models to not only just talk in ChatGPT and answer a question, but they've really optimized the large language model's ability to write and execute code. That is the secret sauce that all of these tools are really pushing towards, and spending as many like billions and billions of dollars training their models to become better at writing and executing code. Because anything you can do on a computer can be done with a command in the terminal. That is the secret sauce. So an AI agent being able to read a document, that is technically 2 or 3 commands in the terminal to open a document, look at it, convert that into something, and then execute off of that. So it can write code, and not only write code and get data and do X, Y, and Z. Whenever something is unstructured or messy, it has the now it utilizes the actual language and human language part of it, where it can reason and determine what to do next. That those 2 principles of LLMs and AI in the past couple of years has exponentially brought in these new opportunities to the industry, where, like I mentioned earlier, anything that can be done on a computer can be done with an AI agent as long as it has access.
Yeah. So the ability to take unstructured documents, reason, has memory, has context, understands what the can determine what the outcome should be based on some context.
Yeah. So the tools right now, they have context windows. The context windows get larger and larger almost every model release. There's still some problems. The larger the context, the more likely that it's going to fail at the task. But being able to rely on that memory to understand what to do, to learn, to build that memory bank, just like a human, goes through experiences and builds their own memory bank. I don't know how it happens in the brain, but it just happens. The LLMs right now and those frontier models are really trying to optimize the memory part to make sure that these things can run autonomously overnight and just continue working based off a set of instructions.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the large. There's another really important category here is computer vision. So we all know this in construction, and this is true, by the way, for a lot of the enterprise. Most businesses run on documents. PDF is one of the PDF and XLS are probably the 2 most common file types that you see in the enterprise, right? Niko, I mean, you work with a lot of customers. That's the
Yeah.
ability to read those documents is critical for an AI agent.
Yeah. Yep. And the tools are there. The ability to read a PDF, whether it's handwritten or digitally created, get that information. The ability to open up an Excel file, not just blankly read the file, understand the structure of the Excel file. Oh, there are these tabs here, there are these headers here. That means this sheet does that, this sheet does this. Look at this formula. The ability to like understand and reason off of the data that it's given, it's unbelievable right now. So the vision is critical for our industry, right? Because everything is document based, everything is signature based, right? The ability to read those documents, take that information, and action off of it based on what it needs to do and what it knows to do.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, there's another. So we have the LLMs, computer vision. There's another called computer use AI.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what computer use AI is.
Yeah. So computer use. This is probably the most interesting and the newest thing to AI and LLMs. So not only can it just write code now and operate with data, but actually take over your screen and do X, Y, and Z. So a lot of our clients are very familiar with our computer use bots that navigate, Sage 300, Vista Foundation, you name it. But computer use, again, the ability to mimic exactly what a user does by clicking specific buttons, clicking a tab, do this, do that, and then adding and sprinkling the LLM's reasoning on top of that, again, makes it like gives us an opportunity, infinite opportunity to solve any problem. Tell it to do this, and then now it has reasoning to be able to kind of stumble through and solve the problem, and then contact you if there is an issue, or contact you when it's done, or contact it out. Like the ability for it to basically do anything at this point with computer use, doesn't have to write code, doesn't have to rely on a script now. Again, gives us limitless opportunities to automate.
Yeah, and these are all combined in an agent, right? So what you have, what you'll end up having is, an agent that is really good at reading a contract, but that agent can then tell, hey, let's say you read a contract, you need to create send that over to pre-construction, the pre-con team, start creating bid packages and estimates on that. It will then send a data packet to that next agent. That next agent, let's say you get the job awarded, now you have to set up the job, convert that estimate into a budget. You send that agent, the agent sends the next agent a task to do, and the agent does that. And so what you can end up seeing here, Niko, is it's, if you think about in construction, the way we think about the world is, what are the main kind of operating cycles in a construction business today? You have a lead to award. You're looking for new work. You are bidding on work, estimating that work. You're getting awarded that work.
Yep.
Okay. We have a library of, we call them genius apps, but we have a library in Otto of agents that orchestrate that. Award to close out. So you get awarded the job. Now you have all these workflows that happen in that operating cycle, setting up converting the estimate to a budget, setting up the job, managing, RFIs, submittals, change orders,
executing on the job and the construction. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And then you have the procure to pay cycle, right? You have to procure materials. You have to you get invoiced for those materials. You get those materials delivered on site. You're doing three-way matches. You have to put together, your G702s, G703s, or you gotta get paid for that work. You have a people management workflow of human capital, labor, timesheets, certified payroll. So you have all of these. So imagine a world where you kind of have these distinct operating cycles, and you could have, I don't know, we have 50 agents right now running an Otto doing all of these things.
Yep. And all of these agents have the ability to talk to each other, communicate with each other, send one data, like you mentioned, going from a bid to an actual job, then starting our job start agent that goes in and uses computer use to then enter a job into the systems that are being used. The agents that we have right now in Otto are great on executing tasks based off of what you do right now and operating with those systems. What we are really excitingly working on right now is not just supporting the industry with agents, but we're building that new terrain not only for the AI agents of tomorrow to operate in, but for your workforce and your employees to operate in. A lot of the tools that are the agents that we've developed with clients and in the product continuously operate with these legacy tools. And it really kind of slows down the adoption and the innovation of what you can do as an individual, as an employee, taking advantage of the AI boom right now. So we're reimagining how work gets done with an AI ERP solution, an AI CRM solution, an AI PM solution that allows you to just use software the way it naturally needs to be used and utilize and optimize on the AI workflows that come with that. So it's really exciting time here at Briq, spending, I don't even know how many hours a day, how many hours there are in a day building this every single night.
No, it's great. And so, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. So here's the catch to all of this for everybody. So we looked at the poll in the beginning, there's AI agents being used. What I'm seeing now with companies that I talk to, and just a reminder, we only focus on the construction space. And so, this is for our world here, is that people are spinning up agents a lot, and they're trying, and it's usually individuals that are looking at agents for a part of their workflow that they do. Okay. And what the same challenge that you're going to have in the AI agent world is the same problem that we've always had in the traditional software world, which is sprawl. You're going to have in the software world, everyone avoids having point solutions for all these things. It's the same thing in the AI world, where you have point solutions, point AI tools for all of these kind of agents that you're building. And this is a trap. And so I want to make it really clear. This is a really important point, I think, for folks to think about AI agents in their businesses today. The way that you buy and use AI as a consumer is very different than how an enterprise, how a company should think about using and buying AI. Because on the consumer side, there's a couple of things happening here. One is I can spin Niko, you can spin up a Claude bot, you can download it, you can try it, doesn't work, you can delete it. There's no real consequences. On the enterprise side, obviously, we're dealing with higher stakes. The other problem is that you're missing the point of an agent if you're not building it at the enterprise level.
Yep.
When you have one-off agents that are just kind of doing separate things, there's no context for the enterprise. The agent knows that individual's workflow. It doesn't know the business. Yep. You need AI to, like we used this example the other day, earlier, Niko, we were talking about this. We've taught AI how to drive a car. I don't know if anyone has seen a Waymo or a Tesla, okay? But if we can teach AI to drive a car, the question is, can we teach AI to run a business? And not just, summarize an email or summarize meeting notes. I mean, to actually teach the AI the workflows, the rules of the business, the exceptions, how the company makes money, the strategy. Yep. And not only teach it those workflows and those exceptions and those rules, but give it the tools to execute. We just talked a lot about the tools it has to execute. And if we can do that, a lot of the challenges that we see, downward pressure on margins, complexity of jobs, you can't continue throwing bodies at problems. Being able to really reduce overhead as you grow becomes real. And so with AI agents today, when they're sprawled across the business without a cohesive, platform for them all to work out of, you risk losing memory. You lose visibility as a leader on what those agents are doing. And you lose security, right? Security, that was the number one thing of the singular options of challenges. And so one of the things that we really impress upon our customers and the prospects, people that we speak to, is when you think about the AI strategy in your business today, it's okay to try tools out, but when you really want to start getting into the real and building these things out, it's important to do this in a platform that manages the memory, the visibility, and security of the agents.
Yeah, I like to think of it like this, Ellis. In 2025, AI and the AI agents were, these tasks and the skills they have, it's incredible. And deploying these agents individually and one-off is like hiring a freelancer at your company. You have 20 freelancers that are just operating. Yes, they can talk to you. Yes, they can talk to other agents. They're great at doing those tasks. But the freelancer doesn't give a shit about the overall business goals and your visions of the company. It doesn't care about that, right? So these platforms that we're developing right now, AI CRM, AI ERP, AI PM, these tools and ecosystems are being created to optimize on those visions and not just do, index a drawing or answer this question on a spec, right? It does that task because the agent can do it, but it does that task fitting into the narrative of what you're trying to do as a business, whether that's growing, whether that's cutting costs, expanding into a new market, taking on new challenges, onboarding new people, right? Whatever it is, these systems and environments that we're building, the terrain that we're building now is going to support that, as opposed to continuously just deploying one-off freelancers to help, summarize and put an invoice into Sage 300. We're really trying to take that next step and bridge that gap.
Yeah, 100%. And so I think there's this category that folks here need to really understand. It's called AI orchestration. You can Google it. And what AI orchestration is, it's the coordination of agents. It's the coordination of the software that you're currently using. And it's the coordination of the people that operate in workflows. Okay. So it's the coordination of those kind of three main pillars in the goal of executing a business process. Okay. So, and what this orchestration does is it gives you as a company, memory. So it knows about your pre-construction workflows. It also knows about your procure to pay workflows, right? It understands how it's all connected. Really, really important. From a leadership perspective, it gives leaders visibility into what's being done with the agents across the business. And rather than trying to secure, 5 or 10 different points of AI usage, you're securing one point, right? So it's a much more efficient way to maintain security for the business.
Yeah, that shared memory, that shared membrane across all of the agents in one platform, right? Just work in harmony to operate not on the specific task that one agent needs to do, but the task that the group needs to accomplish. That's the key. That's why this enterprise platform and terrain is necessary for this industry. It can't just continue to operate with these older solutions that were just built to store systems of record, not caring about how well your business is doing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. We have some questions coming in, and we're gonna answer them. Okay. This is the real mind shift that I think what we see is the future. So current state agents have amazing capabilities, amazing tools at their disposal. They're being used in companies today. I think the more that these are rolled out, I think you're going to see companies go, okay, I don't want agent sprawl. And so you're going to see companies navigating to orchestration.
Yep.
What happens next? And you've alluded to it a couple of times here. What you're going to see today, what you're seeing is AI agents are using, let's say, Salesforce, right? Agents have, they know the business process, they know the workflow, and they're using Salesforce. And I'm going to use CRM as an example, but this applies to project management, this applies to ERP, to accounting, but CRM is a good example here. And it's using those tools. What you're going to see is AI agents and AI orchestration platforms will eat CRMs. You will no longer need a CRM, because what is a CRM? What is an ERP? What is a project management system? It's essentially it's a digital filing cabinet. It's a record of things that have happened in the past. And so there's this concept of system of record versus system of action. And what you're going to see is orchestration platforms like Otto will become your system of action. So here's an example. System of record, someone's manually putting in leads, you're storing contacts, you're logging activity, basic reports. Okay, you might have some APIs spun up, but it's reporting on things that have happened in the past. Orchestration, systems of action, are going out and actually finding those leads for you. They are doing deep research on the internet. They are reading permitting databases. They are reading city council meeting minutes from municipal websites and determining if there's a potential opportunity. And then it's going in and creating that record for you. It's automatically creating bid packages. It's responding to RFPs automatically. It's forecasting revenue. It's then doing a no-go analysis on that job based on the type of work you've done in the past. This is a completely different way of thinking about CRM, in a workflow. Is this, when you think about this, Niko, how do you think about the difference between system of record, system of action?
I think you're spot on, Ellis, right? Everyone right now is using a system to just store that system of record because they're told to do so, right? You have to go put in this lead, you have to go put in this contact, or they're not even doing it at all, right? So there are some companies that don't even have a CRM. So getting people to do that one, log into a system, it's like herding cats. It's impossible. AI orchestration not only is doing that on your behalf, but it is taking not just the next step, not just the step after that, and not even the step after that. It is trying to complete the entire business workflow of what happens once a lead comes in, what happens once a contact is identified, what happens when a project is completed, and that needs to then get pushed back to marketing to create a campaign, right? The end-to-end workflow of operating a business is all done through AI orchestration. It is not just focusing on putting one record into one place so that a week from now you see it in Salesforce. That is not what we're trying to do, and not what we're building with the AI CRM. We are taking over the entire workflow so that when you grow as a company, you do not need to hire any more people. You just continuously give more and more tasks to the AI orchestration tool and the platform, and it just operates on your behalf.
Yeah, and I think what ended up happening in kind of when we all bought software, we had to design a workflow that fit the software that we had in a lot of cases. AI is different because you decide the workflow. How do I want this to work? What is the process I want? And then the AI adapts to that versus here's a database with a UI on top of it. You have to design your workflow based on what's in the confines of, Salesforce or Procore or Sage. And so what this does is completely flips around. And what we see companies do is, they bring on agents, they bring on an operating platform for AI agents like Otto, and they cut 3 or 4 different pieces of software that they're running in the business. So not only is it just the ability to get work done more quickly, but it's also considerable savings from a software perspective. Even at Briq internally, I mean, we've saved this month. I've cut about $120,000 worth of software because we actually use Otto in our own company, and we've been able to cut $120,000 worth of software. So yeah, this goes the same for CRM, but project management, accounting, field operations, procurement, estimating. This is really going to redefine, how you interact with your technology and how you spend money on pieces of software.
Yeah, I think pre-AI software, like humans and users served the software almost. Like they had to do something for the software to make sense. That age and that narrative of software is completely flipped. Software serves you as a company, as a business. It is not the other way around anymore. The software still needs to exist, right? It cannot like we mentioned, you can't just have like some Claude bot doing a bunch of things behind the scenes and then sending you a WhatsApp message and an email saying, hey, this is done. There has to be software for that enterprise level reliability and security, but the software serves you as a user in a business. It does not force you to do certain things.
Yeah, and that's the secret. AI orchestration looks a lot like software. It
Yeah.
has an interface, but instead of just being a database with a UI, it's a UI with an intelligence engine, with a brain, and a database, right?
Yep.
So that's, I think, what you're going to see is, as companies adopt agents, they then move into a platform of agents, and then they replace their old software solutions with agents and the platform. So that's kind of the roadmap we see here. Now, there's a great question from Craig that I'm going to add to the stage. And Craig, it's a great segue into kind of what we want to talk about. How do you do this? What's the road look like? Niko, you have a lot of experience in this. How would you answer this question? What's the roadmap to go from ground zero to fully agentic, or at least somewhat, mostly agent?
Yep. So I think the first step, software aside, what is your company doing daily? What are these people doing? What are their day-to-day operations? What is that terrain? I like to use that term, terrain. What's that terrain that they operate in? And how, and what are those skills that they're executing off of? So first getting a ground look on that, and then understanding what does the AI orchestration platform need to look like to do this fully autonomously. In terms of going from ground zero to fully agentic, I think from our perspective, starting off with AI CRM versus AI ERP is just kind of an easier lift, because you're dealing with new data, not anything kind of compliance and accounting related. So starting off with something that autonomously works on your behalf and can make a couple of mistakes, right? If it misses a lead, or if it miscategorizes a lead in a different county, right? That's not as deal breaking as failing to post to the ledger at the end of the accounting month, right? So starting with something that doesn't have severe risks, but even before that, going through your company, going through your teams, what is everybody working on right now, and asking that question why 1,000 times until your teams are extremely annoyed of you is critical. A lot of our clients, when we meet, we're even asking them, why are you doing that? Oh, I've just been doing that because I've been doing that for 20 years, right? So uncovering these kind of hidden traps that people are just operating in, that's the key first step to going fully agentic.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I think that, Craig, look, you also want to look in the company and who is using AI today, who has like a natural curiosity for this. I think it's also good to start it with people in with the departments that have those types of personas in them. One of the things that we see that doesn't work is, if you're an executive on this call and you go, hey, this is fantastic, I want to deploy agents, but they take the initiative and then they give it to a team that is not interested and they step away.
Oh yeah.
That is a challenge. I think the other thing to look at is, like, where's there's a lot of manual work. Procure to pay, there's a lot there. Procure to pay is a great place to start for a lot of people. I think a lot of our customers, Craig, procure to pay. I think one underrated area is that lead to award workflow.
Yep.
And so, Craig, we can talk afterwards and kind of see what building out a roadmap. We actually have a roadmap tool that our team can work with you on. Is look, going and looking for new work, looking for leads, doing the analysis on that work, putting together submittal packages, bid packages, responding to RFPs. There's also a really tangible ROI there, because if you find a new lead, a new project that you were unaware of, and you win it, I mean, you've paid for Briq and for Otto in some cases for several years. So I think it's looking at, hey, where is there an appetite in the business? Where are there manual workflows? There's a lot of things that have to be done manually that we think that we can speed up. And then, what would result in the ROI? Saving time is great. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of back to the Masters, back to the golf analogy. I say drive for show, putt for dough. Everyone wants to hit a big drive. That's kind of like saving time. But really where you make your money is by the wins. What do you do with the time back? And that's a really important thing to keep in mind when you're doing that. Okay, we're kind of running up on time here. We want to go 15, usually 45 minutes here. As we depart today, I want everyone to kind of think about some of these questions. We talked a little bit about this. Let's think about some of these things. What department? Where are some folks in your business that could be interested in learning more about agents and more about agentic workflows? For those that are already using AI, we'd love to hear your feedback. If you would like to reach out to us, Niko, could you drop the Briq site in the chat? I don't know if you have access to that.
Yep,
Briq.ai. You can take a tour of Otto. You can take a tour of some of our agents. Here, you got it in here. Perfect.
Yep.
You can take a tour of some of our agents. You can request a demo. We'll have a chat. Let's talk about what you're doing today, what you like, what's working. Let's see if we can help you scale that up and really make it enterprise ready. And when I say enterprise, really, I mean, we have customers that are, 50 to 100 employees doing 50 million, 100 million, all the way to, billion-dollar contractors. So, you don't have to be, AECOM to run agents. So just keep that in mind. And then, have a big vision. I think we work with a lot of customers and prospects to kind of help plan out, where do I want to be in 12 months? Where do I want to be in 2 years? AI is a journey. You have to start somewhere. I always say, don't start, you can start small, but don't start meaningless.
Yep.
Pick something that has an impact on the business. Don't pick something that, is just random. It needs to be something real in the business, but it doesn't have to be a full rollout across all the departments.
I think one other thing I'd recommend too, Ellis, for everybody, just continuously using more AI tools, even as like a personal consumer, right? Continuing to use OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, researching tools, just seeing how it can help you day to day. The more comfortable you get with AI, the better equipped you are for the future. Because in 5 years, everybody working, you're not going to be able to tell who's an AI agent, who's a real person. So
at least on the internet. At least on the internet. Well, thanks everybody for attending. Really appreciate the interaction, the contribution. We'd love to talk to you. Hopefully this was helpful. Shed some light on AI agents, what's coming, what we're excited about. Niko, thank you for taking time out of your busy day from building. And we hope to all hear from you soon and see you on the next webinar.
Thanks, Ellis. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for attending. Have a good day. Bye-bye.